Every December, plenty of NFL fans and teams are already looking ahead to April's draft, which is why we asked you in this week's Voice of the Fan, which team is going to finish with the worst record in 2012, giving them the #1 pick in April's draft. I'm joined by Associate Editor Arthur Arkush to break down the results from your votes. Starting at the bottom, the Carolina Panthers, only 3% of the votes. Arthur, Cam Newton's played better the past couple weeks, but this is a team that throughout this year has been very bad, especially in the fourth quarter.
That's right. I think first and foremost, you hit it on the head. Newton, the bloom was just coming off the rose, and now he's strung a few good games together. I think people are starting to say, hold on, maybe he's going to figure it out. Obviously, it'll be a little too late this season, but more than anything, if you look at what the Panthers have done this season, they have not played well. Obviously, the record indicates that, but you'll see a lot of close games. They have been within one touchdown in all of their losses, except for that drubbing out in New York, and then also a loss to the Broncos. So I think the fact that they've at least kept games close, Ron Rivera has really hurt them with some late game decisions, as you touched on briefly, probably has a lot to do with the fact that, you know, this is where they stand.
Pretty amazing that Carolina get a #1 pick twice in 3 years. Obviously, you know, Jerry Richardson does not want that happen to his franchise. Another franchise not expected to be on this list, the Philadelphia Eagles. They got 8% of your votes, even though they have a very tough remaining schedule, haven't won in a long time. Nick Foles, the quarterback, the rest of the way. How real, Arthur, are these chances that the preseason NFC favorite is going to get the #1 overall pick?
It's hard to fathom, really, but I think this is a team that really kind of folded quite a while ago, so it's not out of the question. I'll tell you what, if they had one less loss, it might be even more realistic. But when you look at the remaining schedule, I think it's unquestionable that theirs is the hardest road remaining. And beyond that, I think, you know, with Nick Foles under center, it's probably the worst quarterback situation of any of these teams we're talking about. So again, they do have a one-game lead, obviously, on some of these other choices, but it's not pretty in Philadelphia right now.
Luckily for Nick Foles, Bryce Brown's been playing pretty well for them in the backfield. Now we go to the AFC, where the three teams that come at the top of the results. The Raiders got 17% of your vote. The Jaguars got 23%. And the Chiefs, 49% of you think the Chiefs are going to have the worst record in the NFL and get the #1 pick. Obviously, the Chiefs have struggled all year. A very emotional Week 13 win for them. Can that maybe catapult them to future wins and get them out of this hole?
It's tough to say. Obviously, you'll never know when, you know, such an emotionally taxing victory like that, how a team's going to respond after. But I think they do have a chance to rally. I think when you look at the fact that it took them 2.5 months to get a lead in a game, just that level of ineptitude is unbelievable. You know, worst turnover takeaway ratio in the NFL. So there's a lot of things that have not gone very well there. But I think you hit on it, the fact that they are coming off such an emotional win. It's really hard to know what direction they go from in the final 4 weeks.
All right, Arthur, putting you on the spot, which team do you think is going to have the worst record and will be drafting #1 in April?
I'm going to go with the Jaguars. I look at what they have left. I don't see Maurice Jones-Drew. They're saying he's already out this week. It could be, you know, as the weeks continue to build, we may not see him again this season. Cecil Shorts is a concussion, the one bright spot they had on offense. There's just not a lot of things going very well for them. And as you mentioned, the Chiefs, I would maybe be inclined to pick them, but I just don't know what happens to them after such a big victory. So not a lot happening well in Jacksonville, and I think they may be an opportunity to perhaps go get a quarterback #1 again just 2 years after Blaine Gabbert.
That would be really interesting for the Jacksonville franchise to have Blaine Gabbert and Chad Henne, who's playing pretty well, and then get the #1 pick and probably draft another quarterback. And if there's new coaches, GM situations, a lot of crazy things going on in Jacksonville. Although all these teams are through, we could see a lot of teams finish 3-13, then see a crazy tiebreaker scenario to see who gets the #1 pick. Do you agree with these results of which team is going to finish with the worst record in the NFL? Let us know in the comment section on YouTube and head to our website at ProFootballWeekly.com.